Hello, and welcome to my channel. I'm Mandy Grace, the author of a retelling of the Legend of Robin Hood. The spinny chair was helpful. Return to Sherwood. It is available for purchase. Stop waving your hands. It's available for purchase. There's a link in the description if you want to go check it out. I'm currently writing the sequel, so that's exciting. But today, my sister and I are going to be digging through our parents' bookshelves and
I was expecting that to work better.
finding, you know, books that we enjoyed as kids. I'm hoping this is going to be, not this, but digging through the books is going to be really nostalgic. And, you know, it'll be a cute video. Even if it's not, you get to watch it. Well, you're welcome. Shall we?
Okay, let's look at books.
Yes, let's do that.
This one says Red Dress. Oh, at the back of the North Wind. I love this one. Am I supposed to also?
No. No, it was Robin Hood. Stop it.
Okay.
No, I did really like that one. Oh, these are good ones. Jean Latham? I don't want to grab the entire stack of Jean Latham books. They're all really good, though.
These
Jules Verne.
are my favorite.
20,000 Leagues?
Which one do you feel like is most representative of Jules Verne?
20,000 Leagues. I actually really disliked reading the...
Disliked.
I disliked it. I disliked reading these abridged classics. Really bothered me. I hadn't read the actual classics, but I didn't like those. Ooh. These, Little House on the Prairie. These were well loved. I read that series multiple times.
Oh, I read these all the time. Oh, which one was my
Well, I'm going to check the front.
Oh, this one was good. Ooh, A Family Apart. Ooh,
Oh, you're still there.
we love that.
Oh, we do love that book. That book inspired your book, didn't it? Ooh! Yes, Tale of Despero. That one was
This is one of the greatest books of all time.
Little Women. Also, all of Alcott. Ooh! Ooh! Oh, those don't count.
This is one of my favorite books from my teenage years.
Teenage years? You were a teenager?
Oh, the Chronicles of Narnia.
Oh, yep, those were good. Classic.
And
Also, I read this as a kid and really loved it for some reason.
oh, Mark Twain short stories. I love these.
These were my teenage years when I first started loving reading.
I loved this book. And all of them, like really, especially this book. I feel like it might have too.
Jane Austen.
Oh yes. This is such a good book.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't think I've read that
That's
one.
my favorite Alcott, in fact.
I think, well, either Little Women or Joe's Boys.
Oh, Referendum. Do you remember Referendum?
Oh, I liked Referendum. Jane Austen. Shakespeare!
Yes.
My favorite mug is that one.
It also is the best because it has chocolate in it.
All of your horse books. You were obsessed with horses.
I was.
You still are.
I love the Misty Cheek books. They're really good.
Yeah.
Um,
I read those. I
do you
liked them.
remember these ones? The like historical ones? Those.
No.
No? You totally read them.
I probably did.
Dr. Seuss, do you remember Dr. Seuss?
Yes. Love Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss is the best.
Christy.
Yeah.
That's the book.
Really like Christy.
I loved these so much.
I could not finish. I tried reading.
The thing was, I didn't read them for the story. I was learning to jump when I read these books.
Oh.
So I really loved them because she jumped. You loved this book.
Oh, I did. I read that multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
I love that book. Don't know why.
Books. I don't know.
Just read it. What is it?
Christie by Catherine Marshall.
You read that book to me.
I did read this book to you. I liked to read to her a lot when she was young. And I was young. We were both young. Also, I read this on my own frequently. I love this book.
You refused to read to me the chapter where she talks about
Getting raped?
getting raped. You refused to
I
read
did
it.
not read that to you. Probably wise, to be honest, because I read this to you when I was, what, like 15?
So I would have
You
been
would
like
have
10.
been like 10?
Wow, okay.
No, I don't remember how I explained that to you.
Or if I did, if I let you, like, figure out on your own why she suddenly had a baby. What's that? What is it?
This is Shakespeare's Sonnets, which technically is not one of my favorite childhood books.
No, but
But
Shakespeare.
It's Shakespeare, and I adored Shakespeare for as long as I knew he existed.
Yes.
And I didn't really want to bring my
The
giant
giant-
collection of all
Yes.
of Shakespeare's works. So this
Do you
this
remember
was
the
easier.
night? I know you remember the night. I'm telling the audience that you remember the night that we stayed up, what, 3 o'clock in the morning reading Shakespeare?
With
With
voices.
voices.
Night's Dream.
Yes.
Yes. And
That was highly entertaining.
we all had like 20 characters, and then we come to a scene and be like, wait, who is
Who?
who?
Who am I?
So that was confusing, really fun.
It was super fun. It's really windy. The Tale of Despero.
I loved that story so much. I've read it like 20 times.
I also read it like 20 times, but we saw the animated story first.
Yeah.
A little, whatever. And then found the book sometime after that.
Is this?
And I loved it. What?
That's one of the books that Dad sent us when he deployed to Iraq.
It is. You're right.
That's why we loved it so much.
Maybe that's why we love it. Because Daddy was gone and he gave us a book. Wow.
That just got kind of depressing.
This book holds so much more meaning to me now.
Winnie the Horse Diddler.
Winnie!
It's a whole series with like 2 companion series.
She read all of them.
I did, because I loved horses. And they were books about horses, so I started reading them, and then I just loved the author after that and read every single book that she wrote.
Yep. I have A Family Apart, which I enjoyed, but you were...
This book, like, took my imagination places. It's about the orphan train, and then I came up with my own story, which was basically the same story initially, about kids on an orphan train, but then I tried to, like, make it actually a story, and not just rewrite
Like fan fiction
someone
to a
else's
novel?
story. Oh, that never goes well. Oh. Okay, this is the complete short stories of Mark Twain. I loved this book so much. I don't remember when I first started reading these stories, but I loved all of them. And I like this book almost more because it was my dad's when he was little. So it's like a shared childhood.
Yeah. I don't know that I was in love with Mark Twain as a kid.
For my 18th birthday, my parents bought me my own collection of the short stories of Mark Twain. I love them so much.
I mean, I own Mark Twain books, but I don't know that I was ever like, yes,
Well,
Mark Twain.
I didn't really like Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer that much, but I really loved the short stories. And I really enjoyed A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court.
Dear America. It's a whole series of historical novels, which I enjoyed.
They're told from the perspective of like 10 to 13-year-old, generally, girls. Sometimes they age a lot during the story,
Yeah.
and they just set it in a historical time period, and basically it's like a diary.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed this
I
series.
enjoyed the series. Learned a lot. Who's next?
The Chronicles of Narnia
This
by
is
C.S. Lewis.
Classic. I
have read these more times than I can actually count. And listen to the audio dramas.
Oh yeah, we listen to the audio
more
dramas
times
a
than I can
lot.
count. I still listen to the audio dramas and still reread. Well, it's getting windy again.
Amanda read the entire series to me, but I got very annoyed and kind of bored of just listening to her read, and I wanted to read. So she told me that I could read The Horse and His Boy to her, but we ran into an unfortunate problem, which is that the main character's name, it's not that I can't say, like, pronounce it.
What's his name?
It's just that
What is
I messed it up once, and now my brain just won't stop.
What is his name?
Shasta.
Hey, you got it. Shasta. Or she likes to say Shasta.
I don't say Shasta, I say Shasta. Shasta. It's Shasta. That's unfortunate.
Just sad. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Also, all the rest of Jules Verne.
I adore Jules Verne.
Jules Verne is awesome.
So good.
Also, nostalgic because Daddy used to read these to us before we went to bed.
Yes. All of Jules Verne.
Oh,
And then, like,
other
the
classics.
Swiss Family Robinson.
Yeah.
And Treasure Island. Those
Yeah.
kinds of stories.
Some light reading before sleep.
Yeah. Especially 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
20,000 Leagues
Super
Under the
light
Sea.
reading.
Let's see. Let's find a good, like,
Really solid
fish
passage.
Sea stars and I can't even say these words. Porfitite?
Porfite?
Porfitite?
Porficia?
Porficia.
Jane Eyre.
This is my all-time favorite book ever, hands down. 100%. I read it the first time when I was about 14. No, when I was 12 the first time, and then I just keep rereading it constantly. I love it. It's my favorite book
It's
ever.
really good. There are illustrations in here. I'm such a child. I had to have the one with illustrations. But it's big and you can see it. This is another book that Mandy read to me.
I did actually.
And then I read it on my own because it was actually really good. Some of them I deleted. The Lord of the Rings, it took me... She also read The Lord of the Rings to me. And it took me years to decide to read those for myself.
I read the Lord of the... Okay, so I read the Lord of the Rings for the first time, and then immediately read them to her, and then read them again myself. Like, I spent about a month just, like, reading the Lord of the Rings as many times as I possibly could.
And then you knew all the details and all the info forever.
And then I read the Silmarillion, and I loved it. At the Back of the North Wind, another, like, bedtime story, which was amazing and depressing.
This one, for some reason, stands out to me more than most of the books that you read to us. Like, the other books you read to us, a lot of them had, like, a movie we'd watched or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved them for that reason also because they were good writing. But this one, I just loved listening to him read more than the others.
Yeah. It was a good one.
It was really fun. This was my main childhood reading. I don't remember
Horse Facts.
how. Oh, 2010. I got this when I was 10 years old, and after that, like, this was all I ever read. It has like an entire list of every single breed of horse in the back, and then the rest of it's just like the history of horses and different types of riding and equipment and how to care for horses and food for horses, and it's horse breeding. It's all in here, and I loved it, and I read the whole book.
It's well loved.
It is.
Jane
I
Austen.
can just steal.
These are amazing.
That's helpful.
All of them. I think I read, like, Pride and Prejudice to you too, didn't I? Or Emma.
You read,
I read Emma to you.
I knew it wasn't Pride and Prejudice. I knew I read that.
I read Emma to you. That's funny.
Yeah, that's the only one you read though.
Yeah, I
Because then
think
you
it
were
was.
like, you have to
Have
read
it.
Jane Austen yourself.
Read it yourself. Jane
Which
Austen was
was
harder
fine.
to read aloud for some reason. I don't know. I reread this book. I have my own now, but I reread this specific copy multiple times.
Oh, and Lady Susan. You also read that to me. One night while we were doing the dishes.
I love Lady Susan. Lady Susan is hands down my favorite. It's just a bunch of like letters, and it's not always in a complete works because it was published after she actually died, so they don't count it. Which is rude because it's my favorite.
It's a really fun story.
It's so much. It's a comedy. The whole thing. It's hysterical.
I think my favorite is Persuasion.
I love Persuasion. So Anne and Wentworth are awesome. But I don't know that I could, like, pick a favorite of the actual 6 novels.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Lady Susan over here on its own is like, hands down, I love you, you're the best.
Right.
But, like, of the novels, I don't know that I could pick a favorite.
They're all fantastic.
They're all really, really good. Northanger Abbey is probably my least favorite.
Really?
Only because, so I read it, and I was confused, I think, the first time that I read it, because I was too young to understand what on earth was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never read it again, because I was like, what is this? And then, like, a year ago, or something, less than a year ago, I reread it for the second time, and was like, oh, I do love you as much as the other novels that I've read 400 times. What's next?
Rover Andom by J.R.R. Tolkien.
Another good one.
I got this book, I think, from our grandma.
Hey, it says.
Dear Rebecca, you may need help reading this. I do.
Did you draw a little stick man?
It's on the inside of the flap. I didn't think anyone would ever see it. Wow. You may need help reading this, but it's a wonderful story, and I wanted to share it with you. Love, Grandma Sally. I did love this story. It's so random. That's what I remember about it.
Yes,
I remember it
it's
being
absurd.
extremely random, but I think I really liked having J.R.R. Tolkien in my age ability, you know?
Yeah.
Because all my siblings were reading like the Lord of the Rings and stuff, and I got to read Rover Andom.
Random. Yeah. This one's yours. This is entirely yours. I mean, I like Lori Wick a lot, but this is...
I loved this book, Pretense. I loved that the girls, I mean, it starts out when they're younger, which was kind of fun, so it was like a life story, which isn't always a good idea in a book, but it was fun. I loved that their dad was in the military, and I related, so I loved that, and I just enjoyed that it was a sister story, and they're best friends, and we're best friends. Like, it was just a good, relatable story.
Yeah.
But also the characters had completely different lives from us. So it's good. And the last one, An Old-Fashioned Girl by Louisa May Alcott. This is my favorite Alcott story, in fact.
It's not my favorite Alcott story, but, you know, all of Alcott's probably good.
Yes. You haven't read this one, right?
Nope.
So what's your favorite Louisa May Alcott book?
It's either Little Women or Jo's Voice. I really like Jo's Voice.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
I don't know exactly what it is about the story that I loved, but I just think I enjoyed reading it more than I enjoyed the other books. It's not... See, most of the time I like a story because of its plot, but this one I just enjoyed reading, and the other stories with great plot by Louisa May Alcott, I just didn't enjoy reading as much.
Yeah. I kind of have that with Jane Austen, because Emma is not necessarily my favorite book or my favorite story, but it's my favorite one to sit down and read because it's just really easy to read. Emma
Yeah.
is not complicated to read.
Yeah, just like a comfortable, cozy read.
Yeah.
That's something I love about that book. And now we've come to the
We
awkward
have
part.
come to the awkward part. We've run out of books. Hopefully any of that was usable. The wind is awful. The end.
Ta-da!
I don't have an outro anymore. I used to do
Okay.
an outro where I'd be like, happy writing, everybody, but
But now you don't do like writing help videos.
happy reading, everybody.
We hope that you enjoyed hearing about our childhood.
What are your favorite childhood books?
Yeah, and if you share the same ones, that would be fantastic because we know that we have great taste.
We do, in fact.
You're amazing.
Now we have to put all
Really,
these
our
books back.
parents are amazing.
Our parents are.
have good taste.
They have good taste, and they encouraged reading. We were like, you know, fed books on silver platters,
Yeah.
and we just gobbled them up.
As fast as they get.
Yes.
Okay.
This is awkward.
Well, bye now.
Somebody turn the camera off. Somebody turn